Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Today, the three of us are going to tackle a tough subject of fasting. And then we're going to have Michelle Lynam from the Blair County Overdose Awareness Group. It's been an interesting season for me as far as scripture goes. I've been reading a lot in the Old Testament, and in the Old Testament you hear all about the Israelites and all of the ways, the visible ways that God shows himself to them. And then they go back to what they were doing before. And I just am very, I like to condemn the Israelites for that, personally, until I look at my own life and I say, Arlene, all of the things, the visible ways that God has shown you that he is real and working and alive in your life, and then you go off somewhere else. Now, I do not worship golden calves or anything like that, but friends, we all have our idols. And as much as I like to condemn the Israelites, I need their story. And the reason I need their story is because God draws them back to himself every single time. And he shows his graciousness and his love, and he keeps his promises to the Israelites and to us. Maybe you're going through a really tough season in your life right now. I'm sorry for that. And at the same time, I hope that you are seeking God in all that you are going through. I'm going to give you two phrases that you can hang on to. He is faithful, and I trust him. I promise you that those two phrases, he is faithful, because God does not have the capability of not being faithful. And I trust him. Now that's your choice. Sometimes when I don't even feel like I'm very trusting, I say that. He is faithful and I trust him. Because I can hang my hat on those two things. And I know that even if I'm going through a tough season, a dry season, say, maybe you're going through a dry season, not a valley, but a dry season spiritually, God will always pour into you the water of life. Keep seeking him. Keep striving to be closer to him, and you will feel his presence. Remember, he is faithful, and I trust him. Join us in just a few minutes, because we, three strong women with strong opinions, always backed by a biblical perspective. Let's talk about it.
This segment is brought to you by Harry's Construction, whose motto is, "If you can dream it, we can create it." They are the kitchen and bath design experts, so call Harry's Construction for all your remodeling needs.
When it's time for a new roof, Champion Roofing is your best choice. We're a certified award-winning roofing contractor, meaning your roof is done right the first time. Call today.
Champion Roofing, we're the solution.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. And on today's show, we are going to talk about the word fasting. Ladies, when I hear the word fasting, I want to run as far away as I can.
Yeah.
Yep.
It sounds painful.
It is painful.
It potentially is supposed to be painful.
It is a sacrifice.
Yes, a sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice.
Yeah, a sacrifice. I looked up, one of my words was fasting, and see, I have it written on the back. I have like 6 pages all about stuff on fasting. that I learned that I really loved. It's not commanded in the Bible, which I was uncertain about, actually. But it is almost always coupled with prayer. Prayer and fasting.
Yes.
Prayer and fasting.
Because the whole purpose truly behind fasting is to lean into more of God, to make our relationship with Him closer, deeper. You know, that's one of the main purposes of fasting. But it's interesting, we're going to be doing a fast here, and when I was talking to some people about doing a fast, what I kept hearing is almost a religious mindset behind it, as far as, well, I want to do it, but we have this going on this week, and I don't want to take away from that. I even have that. My birthday always falls during Lent. And I'm always like, but it's my birthday. And here's the thing. Me and God had a little talk. And He's like, this has never been about religion. It's about your relationship with me. And it's okay if you take that day off to celebrate your birthday. That's okay. So I think we put such rules in place that God never meant to be there.
Teresa, I bet you looked up the definition.
I did not look up the definition, but I do believe that it was, well, we all know it was very common religious practice. What I found very intriguing, because we can only give blips of what we've learned on the subjects that we study, I thought this was intriguing. John the Baptist fasted, and he prepared the way for Jesus. The Pharisees also fasted, and they plotted to kill Jesus. So what do I get from that? It is a matter of the heart. And you can fast and have a rotten heart about it. And I don't think that fasting is going to give your prayers this big oomph. It's more of humbling yourself.
That's
before
exactly right.
God.
It is a humbling experience.
And I'm not the expert on fasting. I've done it twice in my life, and once I failed epically, and the second one I did complete. So I'm not the expert on it, but Isaiah 58, Israel fasted for one day trying to seek justice, and the help didn't come. And God told them, I don't want you to fast another day. What I want you to do is I want you to start treating each other right. Abstain from oppressing each other. Again, matter of the heart.
That's one of the scriptures I had written down too. That was huge for me.
Huge.
And I think the Israelites, the Jewish people, had rule upon rule upon rule. And fasting became one of those things that you have to do it now, you have to do it on this day, and this, it was like twice a week and then several times a year. And it looked a certain way, and there were rules, which just religion can wreck things.
Right.
Relationship can free you. And one of the things the Pharisees really chided Jesus on, they said, John's disciples fast, but yours don't. They eat. And Jesus said, when the bridegroom is with you, you feast and you make merry. When the bridegroom is gone away, then you'll fast. And I thought that was very interesting too. Yeah.
And I think one of the big things, if you're going to do a fast, is what is your reason behind it?
That's
what
right.
is the purpose that
It is
you're
not
doing
a diet.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
It's not a diet.
And it actually doesn't always, in my opinion, have to be food.
No.
The Bible talks about, the food aspect of fasting, but I think there are so many other ways to fast.
Yes.
Whether it be from social media, whether it be from TV, maybe it's just from a certain kind of food.
Yes.
Or drink, so there's multiple ways to fast, especially when, I know from myself being a diabetic, I could never fast fully. Or with the medicine I'm on, I would have such low numbers that it could really hurt me. So I have to think about that. So, you think about it. What's the reason behind it? What's your purpose? What's the goal for the fast?
Yeah, what do you want to happen when you're fasting? And for me, I have fasted over a period of years. I don't tell people when I do it. You're not supposed to make a spectacle out of yourself. You know, I mean, Scripture is very clear. They said, fix your hair, you know, put your clothes on. Don't do sackcloth and ashes, so that everybody knows what you're doing. And I want whatever I am fasting from, when I either say it's from social media, during the time I would normally be on social media, am I doing something that is going to draw me closer to God?
Right. Right. So you have to, it's when you go into a fast, you can't just say, I'm doing this.
Right.
You have to plan it kind of out. Like,
That's right.
what's the purpose? What will I do in the times that, you know, I'm depriving myself
Yes.
of whatever? What is the end goal here? How long am I doing it for? Is it a 3-day fast? Is it a 20-day fast?
Right.
You know, you do kind of need to be more intentional with what is the plan behind it? Why am I doing it? And not just like, well, I'm going to do it, because most times you'll probably fail.
And you're not doing it to tell everybody you're doing it.
Right.
Now, I know we have done a community fast, you know, and that's fine to encourage each other with that. But that is not the way it has to be.
Right.
You can do it any time of year.
Oh, right, right.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be
Anytime
the
of
Lent time.
No.
Right.
And I thought about David too, and David, you know, praying and fasting.
Yes.
And then the baby died.
And then what
Yes.
did he do? He got up.
He got up.
and he
That's
ate.
right.
And
Right.
that spoke to me too,
Yeah.
thinking, okay, so he didn't get the answer that he wanted, but he was humbled before the Lord.
Right.
Yes.
You know, and
Right.
One of the interesting times for me, Jesus did not fast before he went into the Garden of Gethsemane. He had a meal with his followers, and then went into the Garden of Gethsemane when he was, you know, sweating drops of blood. And I thought, we would think, oh, that would be a time to fast.
Right.
When you're going to be going through something traumatic, you know? Not necessarily. Jesus fed himself then, maybe to face what he was going to face.
Right. One thing I think about fasting, one of the reasons I think I personally probably hate it, is because we do not like to be a people that sacrifices
Right.
anything.
Right.
Right? We don't want to have to
That's
be
right.
self-disciplined with something.
Yeah.
And so I think, you know, when I look at it that way, and it's like, wow, I'm not willing to be self-disciplined for a week, 20 days, you know, and God's probably like, I not only am I growing you in your relationship with me, but I'm showing you how to live a more disciplined life.
And what is a fruit of the Spirit?
Yes.
Self-discipline.
Yeah.
And I wonder if we manifested the fruits of the Spirit in our everyday lives, we would be so much closer to the Lord. So much closer.
Right.
Because, like I said, we want to pick and choose what fruit of the Spirit we want. We don't want the self-control and the discipline, and we're off on that. We
Yeah.
really are. And because we are American,
Yeah.
it just is who we are. It's the way we live. We live in abundance.
well, and food, at
Yeah.
least in my life,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is a celebratory thing.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
You know, we
Oh,
have
I know.
people
I'm a
over
Southern
me.
girl.
Yes.
If you're sad, you eat food. If you're happy, you eat food.
Yes.
Yes.
And so to take all that away,
Right.
it almost like gives me
Right.
anxiety.
Well, and we frequently,
I know.
Yeah, we frequently think, "Oh Lord, thank you for blessing me." Well, we are thinking of all of our material things.
Right.
When there are people who have nothing compared to us, who are way beyond blessed and closer to the Lord.
Right. So fasting isn't easy, but I encourage you maybe to spend some time in prayer and ask God, is this something that He would have you do? What does it look like? What's the purpose behind it? What should I even give up? Because I can guarantee if you're obedient to what He's asking you to do, there will be blessing that will come forth from it. So although it's not easy, there are so many benefits from it. So why not try it? When we come back, we will have our guest of the day.
Impact Productions, a multi-layer technology company providing on-site, online, and in-studio video services. Contact Impact Productions to capture your story.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. And on today's show, we have Michelle Lynam with us. And she's part of Blair County Overdose Awareness. And she's going to talk a little bit about her story and how that all came to be. So Michelle, if you're willing, share us a little bit about what brought this about.
Okay, so excuse me, my husband and I had 2 children, Kim and Greg. Greg was our youngest, and he developed a problem when he was in high school, unbeknownst to us at the time. And him and a few friends had experimented with some pain pills and marijuana and things like that. And eventually it led to a terrible addiction. And so he suffered with that for probably 14 years.
Oh my goodness.
Although he did find recovery towards the end of his life. We had 4 great years towards the end of his life. But then he relapsed and passed very quickly in 2017,
I feel like I hear that often where they're in recovery, but then they go back to the drugs. Is it because they think they can do the level that they were doing before and then that takes them? Or, I just feel like there's a lot of loss once someone's
After recovery.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem. I think your body builds up a tolerance to a certain extent, and then you have that long period of time where you don't have the drug, and then they're misled to think that they can pick up where they left off, which they can't. And
I think too, like, things are laced nowadays. It's Russian roulette, really.
Exactly.
A lot today.
Fentanyl and
right now.
other things
That's what took Greg was
that quick.
fentanyl.
You know?
Oh, really?
Really?
Okay.
And not what he intended.
Oh, so he didn't even. Oh, jeez.
No.
Okay.
No, he thought he was getting heroin, which is terrible enough, but as it turned out, it was laced with fentanyl. And
Man.
it ended up with three different people charged with his death.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And did they go to jail?
One did.
Okay.
Yes, one did. One had come to town. I guess he was pretty big in the area, into the drug scene, and he had just come here for the money aspect. He didn't have a problem, because I look at it as, the other 2 guys had issues, and basically, unfortunately and ironically, they're all trying to survive. But
Wow.
this person, I went ahead and participated in the hearing and read the victim impact statement, and he actually went to prison for 12 years with no parole.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I think it's a difference if it's somebody that's just making money off someone's misery, or somebody that's just trying to make it themselves.
Right. So he knew it was laced when he was selling
Oh
it.
yeah. They told us in the district attorney's office that when this man and his woman were arrested, they had no remorse at all. They were bragging about their
my goodness.
product and how good
Wow.
it was.
So that's sad.
Yeah,
How did he get to that place?
I don't know.
So, it's a very sad, thing that happened to your son. And, we don't understand that because we haven't gone through it, so I'm not going to pretend to understand it. But how did you move forward?
Well, I think immediately I knew that I wanted to do something in his honor, because he was such a nice guy with a big, big heart. And so my daughter and I talked about it and about how we could honor his memory. And I had belonged to a group on Facebook called The Addict's Parents, and they're based out of Columbus, Ohio. And I saw online they had this program called Lost Angels Blessing Bags. And so I sent the woman a message and asked her if it would be possible if we could start that program here. And she was excited, and she sends us the bags. We've done over 1,200 bags now.
Oh, wow.
She sends us the bags.
And what does that look? What are the bags? What is that for?
It's for toiletries and snacks. we have a friend of mine, Mary Ann Zanisi, that has the Families United for Change. She has a program where she's making cards with like words of inspiration and love and encouragement.
And these go to addicts, or who do these bags go to?
Well, we actually make the bags, and then we give our bags to the people that are in contact with people in the area that would be struggling with. Sometimes it's someone just getting out of prison.
Okay.
Somebody with substance use disorder, mental health issues.
Okay.
Whatever would put someone in the position that they might not have access to those things. So we distribute them through the people that work at Blair Drug and Alcohol Partnerships.
Okay, so you don't have to distribute them.
Right.
You give them to somebody who
Yes.
is in that.
And different treatment facilities that have people coming
Yes.
in.
How do you get all the stuff that's in the bags?
It's all donations. Yeah, so we have people that, I have one mother who had a son with problems. I'll just get a package on my doorstep every month or so. She'll have, big boxes of toothpaste sent and toothbrushes. It's people that have, something in their heart makes them want to participate. We get donations of gift cards. Friends of mine will drop things off. My sister travels, so I have all kinds of travel supplies and slippers. Really so. Cool. And then Judy Rosser at Blair Drug and Alcohol was kind enough to give us a closet because it was getting out of control. Because we try to make 100 bags, and the bags are stuffed full. They're So she gave us a place where we can keep things organized and inventoried and things like that, and a space to put the bags together. So that's helpful.
That's a really, really neat idea. I like that it's, just for anybody really that's struggling.
Right. That's right.
In different areas of their life. Now it grew from there, because now you do Blair County Overdose Awareness. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I met a dear friend of mine, Stacy Lingafelt, at Blair Drug and Alcohol's Healing Hearts program, which is a grief support group for people that have lost somebody to overdose. And together we were looking in 2018 for an International Overdose Awareness Day event in our area and couldn't find one. So we decided, if the need is there, someone needs to take care of it. So we decided to start the event. And we had a lot of trouble finding a place in the beginning to hold our event. I don't know if it's because of the stigma attached. You hate to think that way, but we were through all kinds of places that no interest, or they wouldn't return your call.
Really?
And then thankfully somebody hooked us up with Pastor Jim, and he invited me in and took me on a tour and told us, we were welcome to use the space, and it's a beautiful space. And
absolutely.
It wouldn't be the same anywhere else.
Oh, it's wonderful.
It's a great event. Pastor Troy helps us with the sound and light. It's just awesome. The whole thing it's a beautiful evening of healing and compassion. And
that's a yearly event.
Yes, it's all International Overdose Awareness Day started in Australia in 2001. And now it's a global event, so cities around the world, all over, have events.
And
August
you're
31st.
not just what is the purpose of your event? Just to recognize that overdose happens, or to recognize the overdoses that have happened in the past year?
It's all of the above.
Is
actually.
it okay?
Yeah, we have people, and we can get our information to anybody that wants to participate, but we have people enter their loved one to be honored at the event. And it really is an honor. We really go far to make it a really nice event, to honor that person for their life and not so much the way that they died, because of the stigma attached. Some people just disregard your loss and your grief as less than. So that was number one. And then it's kind of evolved into, we have a lot of volunteers come that are in treatment or in recovery. And I think I've heard from treatment places that it really impacts people that are currently struggling, because they see the result of a loss.
Oh, that's profound.
Yeah. So and they're so helpful, and they'll do anything for us. They're happy to be here. So that's a part of it, and then education is a part of it. We have treatment providers, anyone that has anything of substance to offer the community in that regard, they come and set up information tables.
Oh, good.
So we have information tables lined up the whole way around the worship area here, with people from all different, organizations.
And when do you have your event?
Our event, we always hold it on the last Saturday in August,
Okay.
because the 31st could be any day.
Sure.
And it's easier for people to make their arrangements for a Saturday.
Last Saturday in August, so we know.
Yes.
Put that on your calendar,
It's
folks.
August 26th this year from 5 to 9 here at Transformation.
So, if you're watching and you've lost a loved one through a drug overdose, I would encourage you to connect with this organization. We'll get you the information that's needed if you want to connect with Michelle and her organization, because, listen, we know there's true pain there, but there's healing that can take place. So reach out. As we come back, we will have our tip for the day.
Hey y'all, I'm Hope Darst, and I am so excited to tell you that I'm going to be at Motivate this year, and it's going to be an incredible night of encouragement with worship and testimony, and I really hope you'll join us. It's going to be Saturday, May 13th at Transformation Church in Altoona. So come on, get your tickets, join me. I'm going to be there. You can get the tickets at WTLR.org. It's going to be a great night, and I hope to see you there.
You are a promise keeper. Your word will never fail. My heart can trust you, Jesus. I won't be overwhelmed. But my eyes are gonna see miracles and victories. You are a promise keeper. Your word will never fail.
At the beginning of the show, I mentioned that I like to read the Bible, and I've been reading about the Israelites. I want to encourage you to do something that I have been doing regularly. I have been taking one word, that can be any word you want. I have been choosing God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, love, fasting. I've been choosing a lot of different words and just using a commentary. And if you don't have a commentary, you can get a commentary online. You can use a commentary online. Type in that word or look up the word. I looked up the word God, and I literally wrote down the first 6 verses of Genesis 1. It was a beautiful experience for me. And then I decided I would look up other verses and write them down. And it makes them very real to me. It makes it very easy then for me to also share those with other people. So I encourage you, look up your one word, whatever that word is for the day. Love, joy, God, heaven. Look up your word and enjoy the process. And until next time, let's talk about it.